intellectualradio.com, its subsidiaries, or sponsors. Encouraging, educating, and empowering you into action. This is Warriors Talk with your host, Lady Reshell.
Hello. Welcome to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady Reshell, where we move away from awareness towards action. It is Relationship Monday, and our topic for today is co-parenting, eliminating the disconnection. We are live on Intellectual Radio. We just heard from the Drive at 5 with Roman. Keep it locked right here on Intellectual Radio and allow us to feed your brain. On the last episode of Warriors Talk, I spoke with Jarima Gorin, and we talked about trust your dopeness. Go over to YouTube, type in Intellectual Radio, and stay connected for any episodes you may have missed. The quote of the day is, co-parenting is not asking permission. It's about discussing your child's needs and wants and deciding what's best. We are grateful for our sponsor, which is Emanuel C.O.G.I.C with Pastor Michael Richardson, and he has a special message for us.
Greetings, I am Pastor Michael Richardson.
And I am First Lady Anastasia Richardson from the Emanuel Church of God in Christ. We're located at 3058 West Van Buren in Chicago, Illinois. We are building upon a solid foundation.
And we're inviting you to join us every Sunday morning on Facebook Live at Emanuel C.O.G.I.C at 10:15 Central Standard Time. And you can also view our videos on our YouTube channel at Emanuel C.O.G.I.C-MR. Once again, this is Pastor Michael Richardson
and First Lady Anastasia Richardson, and we're from the Emanuel Church of God in Christ. We are building upon a solid foundation.
Here are your trending topics for today. Joe Biden has been heckled by the father of a mass shooting victim during a White House event celebrating the passage of the federal gun safety law. The U.S. president was delivering a speech on the South Lawn of today when he was interrupted by Manuel Oliver, whose 17-year-old son was among the 17 students and 3 staff members killed at a high school in Parkland, Florida in 2018. The White House gave Biden an opportunity to respond to the critics by showcasing the first major federal gun safety bill in 3 decades, which he signed into law last month. He was joined by the bright summer sunshine by survivors and family members of those slain during the mass shootings in Columbine, Virginia Tech, Aurora, Buffalo, and Highland Park, and others. The new law includes provisions to help states keep guns out of the hands of those deemed to be danger to themselves and to others. Co-hosting with me today is none other than cancer activist, motivational speaker, and the founder of the Gal Foundation, Rizal Gilmore. Hello, Rizal.
Hello, Lady Reshell.
How are you?
I'm well, and yourself?
Seems like it's been a minute.
It always feels that way.
Yes, but we know that it's going to be a hot, juicy topic today. So,
always.
Yes. So I want to make sure we hop right in there. So if you're tuning in, like, share the show, invite somebody else in on the show that you feel may benefit from this valuable information. Our topic again today is co-parenting, eliminating the disconnection. Now, Rizal, hey, Lisa, hey, Sir Walter, they're already chiming in. Thank you guys for chiming in. So, Rizal, I saw this video, and I know you probably saw the video too. It was circling all over social media, and it was actually staged, but a lot of people didn't know that it was staged. It was a girl whose baby father, one of her baby fathers, he brought a McDonald's meal to her for his son, and she got into an argument with him because she was upset because he did not bring meals for everybody. And he was like, that's not my responsibility. Those are not my kids. You got 4 kids, and one of them is mine, and I'm bringing food for my own kids. And she took that food and threw it out in the yard, and I guess nobody ate because she got rid of the food. And so I was listening to this podcast and they were talking about a disconnection when it comes to co-parenting. So I wanted to talk about that and how we can eliminate the disconnection and bring about some healing when you have to co-parent because you have kids involved and you're going to have grandkids involved. And if you live long enough, great grandkids. So you have to be able to get along with people.
I didn't see the video, but I heard they was talking about it on the radio, and it has stirred up a lot of controversy. But this is something that's been going on for some time. Somebody just brought it to light. That's all. It's been going on for some time now. So it doesn't surprise me that even still in this day and age that is still being done. It's just that somebody just brought it to the light.
So did you feel like he should have brought everybody something to eat, or he did right by bringing just his child?
I think he was taking care of his responsibility, which was his child. Now, was he right? He was absolutely right in bringing his child something to eat. But as a man, and we're trying to raise, all of these kids. Yeah, I know your brothers and sisters is there, maybe, yeah. But then again, you don't know the man's situation. Maybe he only had enough for the one child, for his child, and not enough for the others. Where's the other dads? Why do I have to be the person, the man, to do this? Do the other dads bring my child food when I'm not there? So it's a lot of questions, that play with this. This is very, very. This is going to be very touchy.
Yeah, because I would think if they had a decent co-parenting relationship, that before he came over there with the food, she would have been like, hey, we don't have any food over here. So if you bring something, can you just bring enough for everybody? But considering looking at the situation, it seems like they didn't have a good relationship. So, as soon as he pulled up, she was right on him. And then I felt like to video him, like, you look crazy in the video, not him. Like, this is not his child. And I understand, I know men that would bring everybody food, but that takes a special kind of man. Now, was the guy wrong for just supporting his child? No, because that's what he was supposed to do, provide for his child. But as a mother, I probably would have just took the food and be like, okay, thank you. I would have divided it up 4 ways anyway if I didn't have any food in the house. He didn't have to know I was dividing the food up. I just would have did it that way. That's what a mother would have did. I wouldn't have threw the food away if I knew that there was no food in the house. Right.
We're going to cut that cheeseburger into 4s, or we're going to get everybody going to get a nugget, no double dipping. Everybody just one time and fry, go for what you can with the fries. So, yeah. And then everybody live happily ever after with the toy. They'll be quiet afterwards. So,
exactly. Sarah said at least he was there. That's true. Right. Sometimes your presence is everything. It's everything. I just want to commend Lisa. She had an event this weekend, and I couldn't attend the event, but I did attend the event online, and it was an amazing event. Helped me help my son, and they had some awesome conversation. It's still on Facebook if you guys want to go watch it. She is having this conversation because we know that our boys that's turning into men, they need guidance. They need to be heard. They need to be mentored. And she's doing an amazing job. And I'm telling you, I was just so into the conversation that she had with the young man. He was so bright. And, sometimes we don't even think that they're smart enough because we're always like, not really listening to them. But if you just take the time like she did and just sat and listened to this young man, you would be surprised at the things that they know and that they can teach us, while they're growing. So Lisa, I'm so proud of you. You did an amazing job. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. All right, you guys, co-parenting, eliminating the distractions. So co-parenting is basically, they saying that it's when people are divorced, right? And then they're co-parenting with each other, trying to figure out, since we're not romantically involved anymore, how are we going to resume the responsibility of raising this child and making sure they have a decent upbringing where both of us are present? Because you need both parents. You
do, especially nowadays, because you have so many elements that's in the world that's fighting against us as the Black man not to be in the home. So whether it's the courts, whether it's just our egos, whether it's violence in the world, whatever the case, if there's something already. So yes, two parents are needed in the home. And I know between, a man and a woman, things don't always work out, between you guys, but now you got a child involved. And if he's taking care of his responsibility, you taking care, it all comes down to the key that we've been saying for many, many years. Communication, communication, communication.
Yes, you need that balance between both parents, and communication is definitely the key to hold that relationship together. Lisa said it was her grandson. He did an amazing job, Lisa. I could see a little Lisa in him as he was speaking, because he was not shy. Not at all. Sarah says some dads don't even support their child, so for him to buy him something to eat is enough to show him his love. All right, Sarah.
Right. He's making effort. You don't you have to give the man credit that he's making an effort to even bring his child something to eat. Because like you said, some dads are like, oh, well, mom, she'll figure it out. I'm not going by there. I don't feel like dealing with her, So for him to make the effort to even think about bringing his daughter something to eat, whether mom called or not, he was there.
Like, she got them food stamps. She can go get some food. Malia said, important topic, educate parents on how vital it is to take care of their kids no matter what. It's important. Sometimes sometimes your present is just as important as the money. And if you don't have the money and you just being there, taking time with them, helping them with their homework, picking them up for school, going to their events, it doesn't take money to do that. It just takes time.
Ooh. Yeah, but it's going to take some patience too, because some of these, we would say, ex-wives and baby mamas, they're hurt. They are hurt, and it is hard to talk to, deal with, communicate with, all of the above with a female that's hurt, scorned, whatever the case, because y'all didn't work out.
Lisa said, I applaud the dad for stepping up, give credit where credit is due. I do too, because he didn't have to bring it. And I don't know if that was his last, that's all he had. Maybe he skipped lunch, whatever it was, that he took the time out to make sure that his baby ate.
Right.
But then again, he could have brought a pizza and fed everybody. I know it wasn't his responsibility, but it's just the manly thing to do.
Yeah,
so, it's the manly thing.
But again, most of the guys, they're not raised like these men. They're not raised like that, because the men are absent in the relationship. So if the kids aren't seeing that being done when they grow up, they're like, well, I'm just going to take care of mine and not take care of everybody.
And that's why the programs like Lisa is important to help me help my son, because you have people who will be able to mentor, where they'll be able to see and hear these things on what they're supposed to do. They're out there, so we can't say that, oh, I don't know what to do. They're out there. You just gotta expose your child to it. Lisa said, yes, hurt will sometimes cloud our judgment and the ability to be reasonable. Let me just add, Rizal, that it's not only women that are out here that's hurt. You have men that are out here that are hurt, that are bitter. They just show it in a different way than women. We're more emotional, we're more vocal. We want everybody to know that we're hurt, but you have men that are suffering, that may be depressed, that may not be, showing what they're going through. And sometimes the child may suffer because they feel that way. So let's just jump right in, because Rizal, you already know we always run out of time. We always. So what is the main disconnection when co-parenting? If you have some Rizal, just jump right in there. Let me know.
I took communication.
Okay. Lisa said bitterness does not have a gender. You are so right. I like that.
I agree.
Right. So Rizal said the main disconnection is communication. So important. Because, I mean, even if you don't want to talk to this person for yourself, you should be communicating your child needs to this person. Include that person in on the child's life, like what's going on in the child's life, so they can be a part of it, even though you guys are not together. Don't leave that person out.
Yeah, but you got some of these female, they go overboard with it. They really go overboard. I'm going to need this for him because we going to X, Y, and Z, and we got to do such and such, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to need this money and that money, and I'm going to need you to take him so I could run that. Sometimes it's just like, what are you talking about? It just becomes blah, 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 blah. And nobody want to sit there for blah, 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 blah.
I would say if you don't want to hear her telling you what they need or what she wants, then set up child support. Then she's getting her money that way, and you don't have to worry about trying to supply the needs of the child when you know it's already coming out.
Well, I'm quite sure she's already getting child support. The thing is, child support, she's going to get the hair done. She's going to get the nails done. She's going to look fly for the club on Friday. And then she's still calling me, Lil Juju, he needs this. We got to get him sneakers. We got to do blah. But what happened to the money I just sent you last month or last week? I'm paying child support and giving you money on the side. What is happening here? Something is wrong. Communication.
I would say, number one, I'm going to speak up for women, because all women are not out here getting their nails done, their hair done. We work. Women work hard. We have our own money, as you know. So we don't need your child support to get our hair and nails done. We don't. I'm
going to need the percentage on that.
And you cannot dictate, as a man, you can't dictate what I spend the money on when it gets in the household, because it's for the household that the child lives in. It's for that household. It's not for you to directly spend the money directly on the child. Oh, this is only going to be spent on the child. No, it's for the household that he lives in. So if I pay the light bill with the money, he lives in that household. If I buy grocery with the money, he's going to eat some of that grocery. You can't dictate what that woman spends that money on, or man, because some men are getting child support too.
There's no problem. If you paying the light bill with the money, absolutely. You putting groceries on the table to feed my child, absolutely. But if you're getting the long tips and you getting the hair with and extra weave, you buying the two. I've seen the prices on the wigs. They're like $200, some of them. If you paying $200 on that, that's not for the child. That's not for the child.
But you don't know that. You have no way of trying to figure out, especially if I'm working, that the money that you're giving me is going towards that. You have no way of knowing that. No way.
There's a thing called an audit.
No way. You can audit.
Because look, wait, because let me tell you. Because when my wife passed away and my daughter was getting like her SSI, they wanted a breakdown of what was being done with the money. And I showed them, look, I got to maintain this household where we keep, where we lay our heads. I have to pay the bills because it was a 2-family house, but it's one thing. So if one like electric went off, like it all went off. So we had to maintain that whole house. They wanted a breakdown of how it's going to be spent, what was what. And I showed them, look, she just got a new bed. I just bought her clothes. I just bought her a dresser. I just did all of these things. And still, in their eyes, it still wasn't enough.
Again, you cannot dictate where that person spends that money. Because if they're
try telling the courts that. Tell the courts and all those people that.
9 times out of 10, the courts is not asking that woman, we want to see a breakdown of what you're spending that money on. Because if they did, they would say specifically, the money needs to be spent on the child. It doesn't say that. It's child support and it's for the house. It's to maintain where that person lives. So you may not spend it on clothes that month, and you may spend it on something else that month for the child, or that has to do with the upkeep of where that child lives.
Child support, house support, two different
If that
things.
child lives in that house, you cannot dictate what I do when I get the child support. You cannot. You can't.
Thank you, Lisa.
If you don't like it, then get joint custody to where you don't have to pay child support. Be right there, get a house that you right across the street from your child.
Did you read what Lisa said?
Yeah, she said she know another lady that had to give a
Had to
list.
give a few. I'm
Was
telling
this for child support? It wasn't for child support though, Lisa, was it? The money was being used after her husband died. It wasn't for child support. This was for her husband died. Whatever she was getting the money from, it didn't say child support. Was this for child support, Lisa? Because if they did it for child support, then they'll probably, if they're auditing, they'll probably have most of these people giving more money. They'd be like, this ain't enough. You need to give some more money.
Well, it's always never enough.
She goes, no, not child support. No, I know it wasn't for child support. It was for something else. Okay, let me move forward because we're only on that was just the first one.
That was number one? No, it is number one.
Your number one was communication.
Okay. Ego and pride.
Ego and pride. This is a big disconnection when it comes to co-parenting.
I can agree. I definitely agree with that. A man's ego but then the woman's ego too, because no matter what, everybody's going to think that they're right in their own mind, in their own sense. So when my thoughts is going to, debate you on, no, well, you need to be doing this, this, and this. I'm not there in the house. Your mind is going to be, well, I'm here with the child. This is what we need, blah, blah. I need this, this, and this. So it just becomes a whole back and forth until they're just going to get blue in the face, tired, hurt, arguing. And then it's like a whole conflict. It's a whole battle. It's like two magnets that's facing each other. They'll never connect.
You will rather not see your child because you have this ego, this pride thing, and I'm gonna show her. No, the child is missing out, and you're missing out because you're looking like a deadbeat dad, all because of this pride. Lisa says hurt and rage throws everything else out the window. Yes, it does. Whatever we discussed before that, Lisa, is out that window. I totally agree with that. I totally agree.
Yeah. And that's usually do something that he wants done that you don't do.
I totally agree with that. You'd be like,
go ahead, don't pay for the birthday party and see how upset you get.
Number 2, those blurred lines. Sometimes the communication has not been put in stone, or y'all really haven't had these conversations to where how things are going to work with this co-parenting, and people tend to cross the line, overstep their boundaries when it comes to co-parenting. You heard the song Blurred Lines.
We got a caller?
No, I said you heard the song Blurred Lines.
I did. Yeah. Those blur again. That's a lot of hurt in there. It's a lot of hurt. I mean, of course, the child shouldn't have to suffer because of the lack of communication between the two adults because they're not getting along. And more than likely, the child is the one that's suffering. So somewhere we got to put the egos, put the pride, and those blurred lines need to become a little bit more clearer. So we have those boundaries, so we have those understandings, so we can co-parent in a nice space with each other. Maybe put some rules down, like, hey, on this day, I'll see the child, I'll come pick them up. They'll spend time with me these 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You'll have them Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Work it out. This way you're splitting the time. So you're not going to feel overwhelmed or overburdened, and the other parent is not going to, because y'all both are getting equal time.
Eminem says the parent should work something out to help the child. Yep.
I just gave one a plan.
I
That
think
was a solution.
you need a mediator, though. So the two of you are not going to be able to sit down and hash it out. You need a mediator to be in the middle, so that to make sure that it's fair, and that whatever y'all deciding is in the best interest of the child.
Well, hopefully it's a civil conversation and not a I'm going to rip your head off first becomes a shouting match on who can talk over each other. So, well, we can have a civil conversation. We can get a lot. You can get a lot of things accomplished and fix a lot of things by a little communication.
A little communication and a mediator in the middle to make sure you're writing everything down. We both sign it. Trust me, some people need a mediator. If that was the case, we would need the co-parenting thing. You wouldn't need the child support, because people would be
you would need the courts.
You would need the courts. You would be able to hash this out yourself, but because we can't, sometimes a mediator comes in and they just making sure that everything is balanced. But if you have a situation to where you can sit down and talk to that person and y'all can work stuff out, I would say do that and leave the courts out of it.
Well, but then again, it also depends on the individuals. You might have a woman who's a hothead. You may have a guy who's a hothead, who ain't trying to hear nothing, who's trying to control the whole thing. These narcissists. So it all depends on the person.
So the main disconnection in co-parenting, Rizal, is because they still having sex.
Well, they might as well go ahead and go back to being a family.
No, they don't. They done already moved on to other people, but they're still having sex.
Well, then you can see why she's upset, because you're going to go sleep with your girlfriend and then come back and sleep with me. That's going to be very awkward. So yeah, she's going to be upset, and that's going to cause a whole lot of confusion, because you taking the child those 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you with your girlfriend, and the kid like, okay, this is daddy's new girlfriend, but then on those Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, you all hugged up on mommy and stuff. That's a lot of confusion for the child. You got to make up your mind. You let the relationship go or work it out.
Lisa said that's more common than not.
Mm-hmm. I know it doesn't happen that often, but let's just think in a perfect world that something like that can happen. It happens, but again, the percentage is like
no, it's not.
The smallest violin.
The percentage of them having sex, you saying it's small? Is that what you're saying?
No, of them of that happening where they can work things out.
Okay. All right, number 4. This is why you're having a disconnection with co-parenting, is because men are territorial.
Yeah,
once
I
tap that, that's mine. I don't care.
That's right. That's right.
I can always.
Once I hit, it's always going to be mine forever. In my Cardi B voice, forever.
That's that ego and pride right there.
That's right.
Okay, let's go. We on number 5. We moving.
Cruising through.
Number 5 with the disconnection is we keep allowing these men to have access to us.
Well, that's because they want them back around so the child can see their father, but there could be another motive behind the thing. Well, if I let him over here, maybe we can fix things, maybe we can work things out, maybe we can talk it out, maybe I could get me some. There's different motives behind allowing the access over there.
He's not even staying there long enough to spend time with the kids.
If you crack the door, eventually that door is going to fly open. It's you leaving it cracked for a reason. He's going to put his foot in there, and it's going to slowly open and keep opening. And you're going to keep allowing it because you like when he come over. You miss him. You want to see more of him. You want that old thing back.
Lisa said, at that moment, it is not about the kids.
It's not.
The kids. It's about, that was my next one. Sex becomes more important than the child.
Well, we have to think here for a minute. Are we working on a relationship, to build with the child, or are we working on a relationship to build with the individual? And that's where the two get misconstrued, because
they just
they're
coming
working
over having sex.
because they're working harder on the relationship with the individual than they are with the relationship with the child.
It's not a relationship. They just having sex.
Well, they having relations,
right?
Trying to build back the relationship.
That's about it. That's a good one. Another disconnection when co-parenting is somebody still have feelings for the other person.
Exact. That's why that door, that foot is there, and you keep leaving that door cracked because you still got feelings. Just like we said with men, once we've had you, we feel as though that you are ours forever. So yes, we're going to become territorial, and those feelings are still going to be there because we don't want to see with anyone else, especially if we got a child together. We won't use that child as a pawn.
That's a disconnection. Don't be using your baby. Don't do it.
I need to come see my child. Oh yeah, okay. It's 12 a.m. Your child is asleep. What you need to be going to see your child for at 12 a.m. and they got to get up the next day, or they should be asleep? No, you going to see him or her.
Lisa said, I believe the parent may have low self-esteem and just want to be wanted at some degree. That plays a major role, especially if you're allowing this person just to come over to have sex with you and y'all have a baby and they're not spending any time with the baby at all. Yeah, there's some low self-esteem in there.
I think sometimes in their head, if you're there whether the child is awake or asleep, it's like you're there, and that actually be okay in some females' books.
I don't know.
Well, he's there. He came over. He stopped by. They was asleep though, but he was there.
I can't. The breakup was one-sided. Somebody did not want to break up.
Yeah, that becomes that is the beginning of stalkerish.
Well, why would it be stalkerish? I just didn't want to break up. So when you come over to get the child, I may show up at the door with a robe on or something, trying to get your attention. I may cook your favorite meal when you come over, like, you hungry? Want to eat?
I mean, we got one person who's not in a relationship and the other person who is in a relationship, and they're still going to be doing those things as if they're still in the relationship with you. You don't want that to happen. Again, communication, we got to make it clear. We have dissolved this relationship, this marriage, this whatever it is. We just have a baby. We just have a child. We just got a little one amongst us. We have to put it out there on the table, especially if you do not want to be with that person. Make sure you let that person know you do not want to be with them. But yet and still, you still have some females, and I'm only speaking from the men's side, some females like, oh, quit playing. Come on. We go on to Wally World and we going to do this and blah, blah, blah. They're still making plans with this man. And then he's like, well, I told you I'm done. And he's moved on with his life. He got him another girl or whatever the case. And she's feeling some type of way because she still feels as though she's still doing those things as if she was still in a relationship, because in her mind she is. And now she's upset with him and it becomes a whole big fight. And she wants to embarrass him now. She's hurt and hell breaks loose.
Well, can we, since we have a child together, or maybe if we have more than one child together and we want to have family time together, maybe go out and eat dinner just to show some type of united front with the kids so they can have the balance of both parents.
You think that's okay if I'm in a relationship with someone else and I'm going out doing the family thing with you and the kids?
We're just going to dinner.
It don't matter. We could be going from here to the candy store. Somebody gonna say, I seen Jody with Reshell and they was in the candy store together. Ooh, you better check your man.
No, what if you told her this is what I'm doing? This is you tell her up front. We have dinners, we have outings. This is that, those are my kids and I want them to see me, and the mother together, not in a relationship, but just functioning as a family.
Right. And you're gonna have most females are gonna really go for that. Baby, I gotta leave because I gotta go spend time with my baby mother and little Jody. So you gonna have to wait up for me later on tonight, or don't wait up, whichever one. But I'll be back in a little while. You really think that they're gonna go for that? You over here spending time with this woman when you should be spending time with me?
Yeah, well, Lisa said they need to have a hard conversation with themselves and accept reality, allow themselves to hurt so that they can move on to their healing stage. Some people don't want to heal.
No, some people don't want to move on. That's the thing. We have we have a child together. We're bonded to each other forever. Whether we communicate or not, we are bonded to each other forever. So we have to deal with each other.
On that note, I'm going to take a quick break. If you are tuning in, we are live on Intellectual Radio and we're talking about co-parenting, and we want to eliminate the disconnection. When we come back, we're going to talk about some ways that we can actually eliminate that disconnection when it comes to co-parenting. And I'm going to highlight my sponsor, who is Paula Kelly with Allstate. She's located at 327 East Glenwood Lansing Road in Glenwood, Illinois. She can be reached at 708-758-3300. She has quality insurance for auto, home, and life. Make sure you tell her that Warriors Talk sent you. All right, so we're talking about co-parenting, eliminating the disconnection. So let's talk about how we can eliminate that disconnection when it comes to co-parenting. And first on my list is setting boundaries. This is a must. Because if you don't set boundaries, Rizal, then you'll have them knocking on your door at all hours of the night, thinking that they could drop by for sex.
Or call you all type of hours of the night. You got to go do this. It's 1 a.m. I need you to go get Pampers, blah, blah, blah. Nah, you got to set that up like beforehand. So setting boundaries is definitely important because it'll get overstepped. It'll get crossed. Some women just don't understand. And I'm saying again, they don't understand. It's like, well, we got a child and nothing else matters. Nothing else cares. They're not thinking about the situation that you now have going on. You're not in that situation with her anymore. You situated yourself with somebody else in the situation. So the things of what you used to do, you can't get up and run like you used to. You got to be respectful of now your new partner or whatever. So boundaries is definitely a must.
Yeah, especially if I have this person for the weekend or you have it for a couple of days, and then, be respectful and bring the child back on time. When the child is at your house, like both of y'all should really be, and my second one was communication. Both of y'all should be communicating so that the rules at the house can kind of be the same. So the child won't feel like, oh, when I'm with mama, everything's really straight. When I'm with daddy, I can do whatever I want. I don't have to follow no rules, right? But the two of y'all should kind of be on the same page. So if the child goes to bed at a certain time every night, then both of y'all agree, keep that same thing, kind of keep the same rules. So the child won't try to use y'all against each other, because believe me, they will.
Right. I see that happens a whole lot. So if the child eats dinner at 7, they get TV from 7:30 to 8, and then 8 o'clock is bedtime. That's how it should be both ways in both households.
I totally agree. Number 3, to eliminate the disconnection in co-parenting is be mindful and self-aware. Trust me, the children are watching everything that you do. They listen how you speak to the father or to the mother. They watch how you treat them. They watch what you do and what you don't do. They may not say anything, but they watch. And as a parent, I will allow them to come to their own conclusion about the other parent. You don't have to say anything. Their action is going to show everything.
Well, one thing I will say, we put a lot of kids in a lot of grown-up situations, and that really be the issue. We be trying to get them to grow up too fast, or they're listening, and as you said, they listen and they watch. They're nosy. They're listening to what y'all talking about, what y'all fighting about. They looking through your phone. They reading the messages that come up when they there playing Candy Crush. They doing all these things. They are growing up too fast, and we keep putting them in these grown-up situations when they're only just kids. They shouldn't be there.
Totally agree. Another way to eliminate the disconnection when co-parenting is to be flexible and understanding.
Understanding, yes. Being flexible. I may have a job that I work, say, 12 hours a day. I'm tired, and I know that, my baby's coming over. I may just want to sleep. Being flexible, sometimes maybe the hours or the timing may not line up with what I have going on, because I'm working hard so I can take care of this child. So maybe you might get the child the week, 5 days a week, and then I get him on the weekend. But then the weekend, I didn't work the whole week. I want to just chill, relax. I want to get me some me time in.
Come get the baby. I don't care. Come get the baby. Come and get the baby. That's what parents do. That's what mommies do. When we're tired, we still take care of the babies. If you sleep, then make the child take a nap. Like, we going to sleep. You just got to be creative. But you can't put that off on the other parent. If the other parent had the kids 5 days, and just because you felt like you worked these hours, now they should. No, you have to learn to be creative with your time. Yeah, you do. Eminem says you have to make sure that you're able to spend time, even if it's reading a book with them, watching a movie, or just playing with them. You do. You have to be creative. You gotta.
That all depends on the age of the child. That all depends, because trust me, ain't no 13-year-old this boy walking around with mustache on and Jordans is thinking about getting a book read to him. He's looking at other books, Facebook. He's looking at other books.
Well, it has to be age appropriate. So whatever is age appropriate for your child, then you should be doing that. Eminem says, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to question. So what if I get him on the weekends and I'm working the weekend and I just leave the child at home? I'm not really spending time, but he's in my care.
It would be the same thing if the mother had to work. If I have to work, I'm going to find somebody to keep them while I'm at work. If they're old enough to stay at home, then they're going to stay at home. That's what mothers do. But when we're tired, I'm sorry, Eminem says you have to put them first. I wanted to read that. But Lisa said, Lisa's comment was perfect. She said, you don't get to have all that leisure time. You have to figure it out. As mothers, we figure it out. We do. Sometimes we don't like it, and we don't like being away from the kid, but we have to figure it out. So you got to do something. You don't get off that easy. That's what Lisa said. You don't. You have to figure it out. If you got to take the child to your mom's house and say, Mom, I've been working. I'm tired. But then that's your time that you're not spending with the kid. Take a quick nap. If you got to take a 3-4 hour nap, then wake up. Okay, let's go. Let's go do something. You just have to suck it up for that weekend.
And you know what? I totally agree with you. I'm gonna see what the next one is before I throw this next scenario in there, because it's gonna be a good one. So
the next one is have patience. That's a way to eliminate the disconnection in your co-parenting situation. Have patience with each other. have patience with that kid that's trying to, at one point they was in the same household, and then now they in between two households, and they like, what's really going on? So you have to have patience with the whole situation.
Okay, so I come pick the child up with me for the weekend. It's me and my new boo thing. We're out, and I hear this all so often. The mother is wondering why this woman is watching or being there with their child, and they get upset, they get pissed off, at him, but that's the new family structure, what's happening and what's going on. Dad got a new love in his life now, and the child has to accept that, and so do you. So you still going to say have patience?
I would say have patience. I say it works both ways. Just like you have a new boo thing in your house and she's watching the kids, she could have a new boo thing in the house and he's watching your daughters. So you just have to really think about and vet the people that you have around your child and that you're going to leave with your child. So I can't get mad at you because you're with somebody. I'm just expecting you to make an intelligent decision that the child is going to be safe no matter who they're around.
Right. You can't, but we know it happens.
True. It happens. If we're not together anymore, 9 times out of 10, I have exhausted every measure with you. And at that point, I don't care.
Well, more than likely, she's going to say, I don't want my child around her no more. And it puts the person in a very uncomfortable position now, because now you're threatening for me not to see my child because you want me out of the relationship. You don't want that child around there. But
if my child is coming back telling me stuff that this person is doing or saying to them, I'm going to tell you about it. I'm going to be like, what's going on? Because this is what the baby is saying. Like, I need you to address it. I need you to handle it. And until you do, let the baby stay home, because it's not a safe situation. The baby don't feel safe. And we have to realize that in these situations, it's 3 sides to every story. You have the woman's side, you have the man's side, and then you have the truth. And you have 2 people, both are hurt, both are bitter, both have ego problems, both have pride, and they both want things to go their way. And sometimes the child gets lost in the middle of all of that.
Right. Well, it's always what's best for the child. Do what's best for the child in any situation.
Sarah said, then just hang out with your child somewhere else. You don't necessarily have to hang out with the child around that person, especially if that person is not living with you. There's really no need. But I mean, if you want to introduce your new boo to the child, that's on you. I cannot dictate when that happens. Like I said, I wouldn't even care when it happens, as long as my child is safe and my child is not harmed in any way. Then I'm okay with that, because I'm gonna tell my child to or teach my child to be vocal about something that's not right.
And then that becomes another issue from the new boo. Why you haven't introduced me to your child yet? Why you're not bringing them around? Why we're not?
You don't have to.
You don't have to. But if you're the person that I am including you, that I have chosen to be in my life, you need to know all what's going on with it's just like when you introduce somebody to your parents for the first time.
You don't have to. You do it when you're ready, not when they dictate it. Right now, I don't feel that it's appropriate.
So I'm gonna wait 18, 20 something years. Oh, by the way, this is my son.
That's on you.
I know you've been telling me about him for 19 and I'm just meeting him.
If you're serious about that person, then marry that person and then introduce that your children into their lives and get engaged to that person. But don't keep introducing your child to all of these Mary Jane, Sue, Sharita, whoever. Don't do that to that child. If you're serious about that person and you know you're going to be with that person, then you bring that child. Don't keep introducing the child to all of these jump offs.
Well, that still happen. That still happen. Even if you do get married, that still can happen because the child
that
like,
can
oh,
happen, but it was
mommy, I don't like Miss Mary.
it was a stable situation at one point. You'll be able to feel the energy, though. You'll be able to feel the energy with your child and that person. You'll be able to feel it. Sarah said, there's no real commitment. Then why? Then why introduce them? Exactly. Then why? I would, like I said, Rizal, if you are planning on marrying that person, then vet that person. When you vet that person, then you feel like that they're good enough to be around your child. But if you're not serious about that person, you don't know if you're going to be with that person next month, stop introducing your kids to all these people.
Right.
It's going to confuse them and they get into relationships.
And I absolutely agree with that. Until you know for certain, for sure, or there's something, shiny going on, I do agree with that because they're going to get confused.
And then you have to keep your new person out of your co-parenting relationship. They shouldn't really have a say. If you're being respectful to your relationship, then you should be handling. They shouldn't really have anything to say. They're coming into a situation that's already happened. They should not be dictating they shouldn't have that much power.
That ain't gonna happen. Why you always got to go over there? Why she can't come over here?
Because
it happens.
You're not
Those are the challenges that happens.
That happens because a person is not being honest about what's going on. If I'm going to get the child, she could come over there with you while you getting the child. She ain't got to necessarily come in the house. She could sit in the car. But because some people be on some sneak stuff, they little sneaky links, and they want to go over there and get some, and then leave. So they use the child, and the child is in the middle. Now the other person freaking out because they feel like you going over there too much all the time. No, that's you being dishonest. Being dishonest. Yep. You being dishonest. Okay, so this one I'm gonna go really fast because we don't have no more time. We have no more time. So this one is don't speak negative about the other parent in front of your
Absolutely.
child. Number 7 is observe your child, their behavior. Sometimes if they're withdrawn after you and your person split, or you bring a new person around and you notice that their behavior has changed, watch all of that. Number 8, no matter what, remember, everything is in the best interest of the child. Number 9, the rules in the household, again, they should be the same. And that's about being on the same page. You communicating with the other co-parent, and you guys the rules should be the same so that the person, again, the child is not trying to have one up on the person. And then you can also, this is where the mediator comes in, where you can put a plan in place so that there will be no confusion, no miscommunication. Everybody has a signed copy of the plan. And if you need to deviate from the plan, then it needs to be in writing. They have this website where you can go to, where you can, I think it's My Family Wizard or something like that, where you can send text messages that way. And they keep track and recordings of all your messages, text messages that you send. So if you try to be nasty to somebody, you trying to cuss somebody out, guess what? They got it all recorded.
All on record.
Yeah, and a lot of families go through that just to eliminate the negative stuff. Number 11 is communicate with your co-parent over the internet. That would be what I just said. If y'all can't talk face to face, then find another way to communicate, but communicate. Number 12 is be honest with your child. You don't have to necessarily go all into the gory details, but be honest about what's going on, what's happening, so that they'll know, because they're already feeling it. And number 13 is keep your kid out of what's going on. Don't put the kid in the middle. Tell your dad I said this. Tell your dad this. No, y'all should be 2 grown adults. Y'all was grown enough to screw and have this child. Y'all made plans, and now all of a sudden y'all hate each other. Y'all can't talk. Like, really?
Civilized conversation. Girl, I ain't never seen you shoot through these last 7 like you just did in 2 minutes.
I wanted to make sure I got through them. Let me see. I think I have someone too. I think I skipped the number. Hold on. So it should be number 14. Date with intentions. A lot of times
Right.
we don't date with intentions, and then we don't look at this person like, I wouldn't mind having a baby by this person. So if we had sex and had a baby, I'll be okay. Most of the time we sleep with these people. We don't want a baby with these people. But then we end up having children by somebody we wouldn't even want to have a baby by. Now we're connected with this person for the rest of our lives. And now we can't stand a person. We can't get along. We can't even have a conversation, which is so sad that you can't even have a conversation without somebody getting bitter, without somebody getting upset. All right, Rizal, words of wisdom as it relates to co-parenting, eliminating the disconnection.
Ooh, I mean, I'd take a deep breath after this conversation. Lord. So I just say to the guys out there, don't step down because the other dads won't step up. Bring that pizza.
I like
That's it. That's it. Bring the pizza.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree. I'm going to use my closing sponsor, which is Gloria Dotson with Mary Kay. She's catering to all of your beauty needs from head to toe. Head over to her website, marykay.com/GDOTSON for some new and exciting products. As always, join me next Monday at 6 p.m. right here on Intellectual Radio. I will leave you with these words of wisdom. Co-parenting, it's not a competition between two homes. It's a collaboration of parents doing what is in the best interest of the child. As always, thank you for tuning in to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady Reshell. Co-hosting with me today is none other than Rizal Gilmore, a.k.a. The Biz. We will see you next Monday.
Thank you for listening to this week's edition of Warriors Talk with Lady Reshell. To find out more about Warriors Talk, follow at Warriors Talk, the number 1, on all social media outlets, and Warriors Talk with Lady Reshell on YouTube. Please join us next week and every Monday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on intellectualradio.com for Warriors Talk with Lady Reshell, where we encourage, educate, and empower you into action.